The last Tsar of Russia, Nicholas II, was betrayed by his own monk healer, Grigory Rasputin. Here is how Rasputin made the Romanovs an extinct dynasty. The year 1916, the setting, Russia. The Romanovs were in a crisis. Their son, Alexei, had a serious health issue. The boy was having an immense amount of pain and bleeding. As the royal family was preparing for dinner, young Alexei would experience another episode of pain. He would fall to the ground, contorted in pain, and blood would pour out of him. The Romanovs were worried sick about their son. They needed help, and they needed it fast. Tsarina Alexandra, Alexei's mother, reached out to a man named Grigory Rasputin. Rasputin was a self-proclaimed holy man. People believed that he had healing powers. He also had a reputation of being able to ward off evil spirits. The Tsarina desperately hoped that he could help her son. Rasputin came to the palace and met with the royal family. He laid his hands on the boy and instantly felt a dark presence around him. Rasputin identified the source of the darkness, the evil spirit, and cast it out. Miraculously, the bleeding stopped, and young Alexei seemed better. This impressed the Romanovs, especially the Tsarina. She now fully trusted this man who was more than twice her age. After Rasputin left, the royal family noticed that Alexei was indeed feeling much better. Over the next few days, Rasputin would visit the palace several times. Each time the boy experienced an episode, Rasputin was there to stop the bleeding. Eventually, the mysterious bleeding stopped altogether. And all this time, Rasputin was staying at the palace, living a lavish lifestyle. But Rasputin's relationship with the Romanovs would soon become complicated. Rasputin had a terrible reputation. People said that he was a manipulative, sadistic, and violent man. It was rumored that he chained women and whipped them as they begged for mercy. It didn't help that Rasputin was extremely ugly. His face was pockmarked, and he was incredibly tall and muscular. Many people thought that Rasputin was an incarnation of the devil himself. Despite this, the Tsarina still trusted him, and she kept him close to her son. She sent him on diplomatic missions and gave him expensive gifts. One day, the Tsarina asked Rasputin to go to the front lines and check on her husband. Nicholas II was at war, trying to expand the Russian Empire. He had been told that Rasputin was a holy man, and he wanted to meet him. When Nicholas II met Rasputin, he didn't like him at all. He found him repulsive and was deeply disappointed that his wife trusted this man. Still, he allowed Rasputin to stay at the palace and continue treating his son. But the Tsar did not trust Rasputin, and he kept an eye on him. He knew that Rasputin was dangerous, and Nicholas II was right to be suspicious. Rasputin was using his influence over the royal family to grow his power. He tried to manipulate the Tsarina into giving him even more power and money. He also tried to put his own people into influential positions throughout the government. One day, Rasputin went too far. He started making advances toward the Tsarina. Even though the Tsarina didn't reciprocate his feelings, Rasputin kept bothering her. She felt disgusted by him, but she couldn't do anything. After all, he was the one who saved her son. Nicholas II found out what Rasputin was doing and confronted him. He told Rasputin that he had to leave the palace immediately. But Rasputin didn't leave. Instead, he went straight to Alexei and told the young boy that his father wanted him dead. Rasputin pretended to be very upset, but in reality he was furious. He went straight to the Tsarina and told her that the Tsar wanted to kill their son. Rasputin knew that this wasn't true, but it didn't matter. The Tsarina fell for it and was outraged. She went to her husband and demanded that he apologize to Rasputin. Nicholas II refused and told her that he would protect his son no matter what. This enraged the Tsarina. She had never disobeyed her husband before, but she was willing to do it for Rasputin. She accused the Tsar of being an unfit father and said that he would be responsible if anything happened to Alexei. As the Tsarina and Nicholas II argued, Rasputin took advantage of the situation. He went to the bedroom where Alexei was sleeping and injected a poison into his mattress. Then he went to the kitchen and prepared a meal for the entire family. He laced it with a powerful sleeping potion. The next morning, everyone woke up feeling fine. But later that day, Nicholas II and his children started feeling sick. They threw up and had intense stomach pains. Soon, they were all knocked out cold. Rasputin had poisoned them all. When the Tsarina found out what Rasputin had done, she was furious. She confronted him, but Rasputin just laughed. He told her that the Tsar and their children deserved it for mistreating him. He then bragged about how he had poisoned the entire royal family and how he was going to rule Russia now. The Tsarina was horrified, but she knew that she had to do something. She couldn't let Rasputin take over Russia. So she made a deal with him. She promised to give him everything he wanted if he cured the Tsar and their children. Rasputin agreed and quickly got to work. He developed an antidote to the poison, and the Tsar and their children woke up feeling fine. The Tsarina kept her word and gave Rasputin everything he wanted. But Rasputin soon became bored of it. He wanted more power. He started making demands of the Tsarina. He told her that she had to give him complete control of the government, or else he would poison the family again. The Tsarina was furious, but she couldn't do anything. If Rasputin left, Alexei might die. Meanwhile, Nicholas II was furious about what Rasputin had done. He wanted to kill him, but the Tsarina begged him not to. She told him that Alexei needed Rasputin. Nicholas II knew that she was right, but he couldn't stand Rasputin, so he came up with a plan. He invited Rasputin over for dinner and told him that they needed to talk. Rasputin arrived at the palace and sat down for dinner, but he didn't know what was coming. As the meal progressed, Nicholas II kept serving Rasputin more and more wine. Rasputin drank and drank until he was completely drunk. The Tsar then got up and told Rasputin that he had to leave. Rasputin tried to protest, but Nicholas II didn't care. He escorted the drunk Rasputin to the door and kicked him out. Rasputin stumbled out of the palace and collapsed on the ground. Nicholas II watched as he was being carried away by his men. He knew that this was the end for Rasputin, but Nicholas II was wrong. The next day, Rasputin showed up at the palace looking fine. He went straight to the Tsarina and told her that the Tsar kicked him out. The Tsarina was furious and went straight to her husband. She told him that Rasputin was fired and demanded that he apologize to him. Nicholas II refused and told her that he didn't want Rasputin anywhere near him. The Tsarina was livid and slapped her husband across the face. She then stormed out of the room and went to Rasputin. She apologized to him and told him that he could stay at the palace, but only if he agreed to never set foot outside of it again. Rasputin accepted these terms and spent the rest of his life at the palace. Although Rasputin was no longer in charge, he still held a lot of power. He continued to make advances toward the Tsarina, but she firmly rejected him. Rasputin was furious, but he didn't dare do anything. Soon after, Rasputin became very sick. It was obvious that he was dying. Before he died, he called the Tsarina to his side and whispered something in her ear. It was a threat. Rasputin told her that he would be watching over her and her family from the afterlife. He said that if she ever went against him, he would make sure that she regretted it. Then he died. When Rasputin was buried, the Tsarina had his coffin dug up and burned. She wanted to make sure that his body wouldn't rise from the dead. She then scattered his ashes and locked the box. But Rasputin's threat still lingered in the back of her mind. She knew that he had put a curse on her and her family, and soon his curse would come true. In 1917, the Russian Revolution broke out. The people of Russia were fed up with the monarchy and overthrew the government. Nicholas II and his family were arrested and taken to a remote location. Here, Rasputin's curse came true. The Bolsheviks, who were leading the revolution, hated the royal family. They tortured Nicholas II and his children and eventually shot them all dead. The only survivor was the Tsarina, who was executed by firing squad. And so the Romanov dynasty came to an end because of a vindictive monk. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more videos.